When the sun rose over the narrow streets of Jaipur, it painted the city in warm shades of gold and rose. Vendors rolled open their shutters, scooters buzzed past sleepy tea stalls, and somewhere in the middle of it all, Jenny sat on the edge of a small balcony, holding a chipped mug of chai and wondering if today would finally be the day their life together felt stable. For years, Jenny and Sumit's love story had been anything but simple. It was layered with cultural clashes, family resistance, financial anxiety, and the kind of emotional tests that could either break a couple or forge them into something unshakable. Now married and living in India, they had reached a new chapter. Survival wasn't enough anymore. They needed purpose. They needed income. They needed a plan. And for the first time, they were ready to get to business. Sumit paced the living room, phone in hand, nervously rehearsing what he would say to a local supplier. Jenny watched him with a half-smile. She had seen this version of him before, a hopeful dreamer mixed with quiet fear. But today felt different. There was determination in his eyes. "Are you sure about this?" Jenny asked gently. Sumit stopped pacing and nodded. "I'm tired of feeling stuck. I don't want you worrying every month. I want us to build something, together." That word, together, meant everything to Jenny. The idea had started small, almost accidentally. Jenny loved cooking, especially the comfort dishes she had perfected over years in America. Friends in the neighborhood were always curious about her food: burgers, sandwiches, fusion snacks with an American twist. Sumit noticed how people lingered when Jenny cooked, how conversations sparked, how curiosity turned into excitement. "What if we sell food?" he had asked one night. Jenny laughed at first, but then she imagined it. A small cafe, maybe even a takeaway counter. American comfort food with Indian flavors. Affordable. Honest. Warm, just like them. Now that dream was knocking on the door. Their first challenge came fast. Money. They didn't have much saved, and every rupee mattered. Jenny felt the familiar knot of anxiety tighten in her chest. She had given up everything to be here: her pension, her comfort, her predictability. Failure wasn't just scary, it felt personal. But instead of arguing, they sat at the table and wrote everything down. Expenses, ingredients, rent, licenses. No shouting, no blame, just teamwork. For the first time in a long while, they felt like partners, not fighters. The next day, they visited a tiny storefront near a busy road. It was nothing fancy, just 4 walls, a dusty floor, and a flickering light. But Jenny saw a possibility. She imagined a small menu chalkboard, the smell of grilled bread, laughter drifting into the street. "This could be it," she whispered. Sumit smiled. "I see it too." Convincing others wasn't as easy. When Sumit told his family about the plan, the response was cautious at best. They had seen his struggles, his mistakes, his risks. Jenny braced herself for rejection, but something unexpected happened. Instead of criticism, there was silence. Then his mother said quietly, "If you are serious this time, prove it." It wasn't approval, but it wasn't refusal either. For them, that was progress. The real test came on opening day. Jenny woke up before sunrise, nerves buzzing through her body. Her hands shook as she prepared ingredients, triple-checking recipes she had cooked 100 times before. Sumit handled the setup, greeting neighbors, arranging stools, hanging a simple sign: Jenny and Sumit's Kitchen. No fancy marketing, no big launch, just hope. The first hour passed slowly. Then a curious customer stopped, ordered 1 sandwich, took a bite, smiled. Word spread faster than they expected. By noon, the tiny space was full. People asked questions, took photos, complimented the flavors. Jenny moved behind the counter with growing confidence, her laughter blending with the sizzle of the pan. Sumit handled orders, money, and smiles, his earlier fear replaced with pride. They were exhausted, but alive. That night, after cleaning up, they counted their earnings. It wasn't a fortune, but it was real, honest, earned. Jenny's eyes filled with tears. "We did this." Sumit reached for her hand. "No, we're doing this." The days that followed weren't perfect. Some mornings were slow. Some customers complained. Supplies ran out. Stress returned in waves. But instead of turning against each other, they leaned in. They learned how to argue without hurting, how to listen without defending, how to fix problems instead of reliving them. Their business became more than income, it became healing. Neighbors began to recognize them not as the controversial couple, not as the pair that struggled endlessly, but as the warm owners who remembered names and offered extra sauce with a smile.